Good morning, and how are you on this Thursday? Well, after yesterday's shenanigans in Parliament with the postponement of our budget, let's say uncertainty and change is definitely in the air, and that is what a listener requested I talk about with you today, is embracing change and uncertainty. And it could not have come at a better time, so thank you for that. I think firstly, what I'd like to share with you is the fact that we live in a world, in a universe that is made up of change. If we think about how nature changes, how we go through seasons, how we've had amazing rain in places of the country at the moment, and even flooding. And we have had the fires in Wellington. So change is kind of in the air all the time. And the only things that are certain are death and taxes. You are going to die. I am going to die. And we have to pay taxes. Let's face it, one way or another, even though the government may not have, I should not say the government, the ANC did not get their way with slapping another 2% on our already exorbitant VAT. But we pay taxes via VAT, we pay a fuel levy, you pay, obviously if you have an income, you pay your pay as you earn. So we are taxed over and over again. If you use one of the toll roads, you are paying a tax there when you go through the toll booth. So those things are certain. You are going to die and you will pay taxes one way or another. So those are the only two certainties in life. So having said that, to embrace change and uncertainty is almost one of those basic necessities of life, a skill or a mindset you have to have. Now, if we fear, if something is uncertain, whether it is a relationship or whether it is a job that you want and you're hoping to get it but you're not sure, or whether there is talk of retrenchment within the organization you're currently in, it can cause anxiety, stress, sleeplessness, a poor appetite, all those things that we know are so interwoven with those thoughts and emotions. Now take note, I said thoughts and emotions, because we first think a thought and then we have the emotional reaction to that thought. So we think and then we feel. And listeners, I just need to interject here and say my office assistant Mango, my border collie, has just walked into the office here, and so if there's any tinkling of little paws on the floor, you know where that comes from. So getting back to that uncertainty, as I say, that is part of life. If you're moving, you think, wow, I don't know if I'm going to be happy with where I'm moving to. But there's also the excitement of, we're going to a new place. I wonder what's going to be there. I wonder what it looks like. I wonder what the area is like. I wonder if I'm going to make new friends. And so it all boils down to a mindset. Do you have a growth mindset? Because change and growth and change are intertwined. You cannot grow if you always stay the same, can you? And you cannot change yet be the same you were, because then it's not change. So if you want to grow as an individual, if you want to grow as a person, you have to accept change. And whether that's a change in your daily routine, if you maybe take a position that requires you to work different hours, if you move to a place where you have to travel to work further, there is change and it is constant. So look at your mindset, listener. Look at how do I deal with all the constant uncertainties in life. Do I see the opportunities in it, or do I just see problems? And if you see problems, What do you tell yourself about this promise? Do you say, oh, I can't cope, I don't know what I'm going to do, how am I ever going to manage? Or do you say, that's a problem, now how can I approach it? What other angles can I take to find a workable solution? And once you can change your mindset to that curiosity of, that's interesting, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I am sure I will cope. Then doors start to open. Ideas start to pop into your head. And you start seeing opportunities, but you see those opportunities and challenges as positive and not as negative. So people with a growth mindset, they believe that they have the abilities, the skills, the intelligence, the talents to address a situation successfully. And they also know that if they don't have those skills, they can acquire them. Again, listen, if it's something you're really struggling with, go and speak to a professional. Go and speak to someone who can give you the best possible advice and guidance, and that can give you some knowledge and skills that will serve you in your life going forward. So a growth mindset is the person that says, I see growth. If I can't do it, I'll find out how to do it. I'll go and learn. I'll go and do a course. I'll go and talk to someone. But I'm going to conquer this. Whereas the fixed mindset person is, woe is me. This is who I am. I'm never going to change. I'll never be able to do that. This is all too much for me. And I'll just sit here in my little heap and mope. And those people generally battle throughout their lives, not because life is a conspiracy against them, not because things get more and more difficult, but because they don't look at the situation and say, how can I better equip myself to deal with this situation in a way that's going to be satisfying? So ask yourself, what is my mindset when something unexpected happens? There are some strategies that you can incorporate that will help you cope better and manage the uncertainty and to manage change more effectively. So let's look at those. One is be 100% accountable. To grow, you need to be accountable, because I need to say I am exactly where I am today because of the choices I made yesterday and last week and last year. I am married to a man that I chose to marry. Nobody put a gun to my head and said, Lee, you better marry him or I'm going to kill you. I chose to marry him. So if I should be in an unhappy marriage, it's because at some point I agreed to that. That does not mean you can't change it, okay? If I am in a job that I hate, I at one point took the job because I thought at some level, maybe I thought this is the most amazing job, I'm just so lucky to have it, or maybe it was a case of, look, it'll pay the bills. But at some point, I accepted that job. And now things have changed. I'm no longer happy. I feel insecure. I feel anxious. I stress about it. I need to make the change because I put myself in this position. So be 100% accountable for where you are. Even when unexpected things happen, like, let's say, flooding. At some point, at some level, you are, because you chose to live in a particular place. Maybe your home is constructed in such a way that makes it prone to flooding. Or I watch with fascination when we drive past a certain road on the south coast, a main road. And there are all these people building these beautiful homes in a floodplain. And when the river comes down, when there's a flood, they're going to be crying and say, woe is me, why did this happen to me? And my question to them is, why did you build in a floodplain? So yes, by all means, if you want to build in a floodplain, do so. But be aware and cognizant of the certainty that there is going to be another flood. And unless you put your house on on stilts and drive pylons into the earth and raise it way above the floodplain level, you are going to have a problem down the road. And that is another thing. I have to throw this in. Sometimes we make a decision knowing full well that there are potential problems, but we go ahead and do it anyway because it seems like the solution in the moment. So we don't look at the medium or long-term consequences or results. We don't do a risk analysis. We just say, well, it sounds good, so, I'll go with that. Instead of taking your time to consider the pros and the cons. Okay, so be 100% accountable. Do not concern yourself with what others think. You need to make the right choices for you. Don't make choices that will please. And I'm not saying don't discuss things with your significant other. Of course we do. But at the end of the day, I have to be happy for my significant other to be happy. Because if I'm not happy, when you're miserable, you tend to make others around you miserable as well, not so. And you're not the greatest fun to be around. So I need to make sure I'm happy so I can be the best version of myself as a wife, as a coach, as a mentor, as a sister, as a friend, all those hats that we wear. I have to be happy to be the best at those various hats that we wear. So I cannot do things because it would make my hubby happy or it would make my sister happy. I have to do things that would make me happy, and then I can make them happy by being the best version of myself. Stay focused and stay on purpose. Become an expert in your field. So if it's a career, a job-related uncertainty and changes that you face, make sure you're an expert in your field. Then you become valuable to the organization. Then you become valuable to your clients or your customers. If you are selling a product, make sure you have all the product knowledge. Make sure you can discuss it in depth with your customers. If you offer a service, as I do, I need to make sure, as I've discussed before, that I keep the axe sharp, that I am up to date, up to speed, and that I can discuss with my clients all the things that concern them and give them the correct and the up-to-date, accurate information. For those who don't know the reference of keeping the axe sharp, if I am a chopper of wood, I cannot have a blunt axe. I'm not going to be a very good chopper of wood. I need to make sure my tool is sharp to do the job. So I need to make sure my tool, which is knowledge and skills that I impart to my clients, that they are sharp. So make sure you are an expert in your field. The world around us is so full of fake news, so full of Photoshop, social media posts, so full of utter nonsense. And I was reading Robin Sharma's book, Own Your Morning and Elevate Your Day, where he says the world is caught up in the mind numbing, because it numbs the mind, literally, of social media and what's happening and what so-and-so said on TikTok and what's on YouTube and what's... I'm not saying there aren't some good information on those platforms, but I'm saying be a critical consumer of knowledge. Be a critical consumer of information. Don't read one article and think this is the be-all and end-all. Read a variety of articles from all different perspectives. Those who are for, those who are against, those in the middle, those who come from on top and those that come from underneath. And then decide for yourself what sits well with you. So become an expert in your field. Learn from your failures. Don't let them sink you. Don't focus on them, but learn from them. Say, I tried that, I did it that way, it didn't work. So, listeners, my late mom loved baking and she was very good at it. She really enjoyed baking more than anything else in the world. And she would try a recipe and it wouldn't work. And she didn't throw it out. She'd say, well, I really like this, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted, so I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to add a bit of this, less of that. Whatever she did, bake it at different temperature, bake it for longer, for sure. But she massaged it, tweaked it, if you will, till she produced a product that she thought, wow, this is amazing. This is just the best. So learn from your failures. See what you want to tweak. See how you want to adjust it and work it till you have a brand new, exquisite product. Make sure that what you offer is the best that you're capable of offering. Do the work, put in the time. It takes time to produce quality. Many years ago, my husband and I went to a restaurant that said, relax, enjoy yourself. It takes time to prepare exceptional food. And it does. We all go to the restaurants who do the mass-produced thing and they whip it out of the deep freezer, prepare it, and it's absolutely adequate. But when you go to a good restaurant that start from scratch, that make it just so, it takes time. It takes time to hone your skill. You do not become an expert craftsman overnight. It takes years of practice and fine-tuning. You do not get a degree overnight. It takes years of study and commitment. And so whatever your field is, whatever you want, whether you're a seamstress, take time, put the work in, put the time in, and get it right. Put in the time and the effort. And remember to look at where your greatest successes come from and where your greatest failures lie. And then you can see what you need to do less of, see what you need to do more of. Do what you love for the people who love what you do. There are few things as disheartening as putting in your level best with a company, an institution, whoever, and it's not appreciated. And they treat you like it is just mediocre, it's what expected, and what do you want from us? So make sure you do what you love for the people who love what you do. Whatever it is, I love what I do, and I am privileged and honored to say my clients have all loved me for what we have done together and have grown and been appreciative. Their kites have soared because of what we've done together. I never do it grudgingly. I am never too tired. I'm never too overworked. I'm never too anything to give my very best to a client, because I love what I do, and I love the satisfaction and the humbling experience and the privilege of helping someone spread their wings and fly, find their wings and fly. So make sure you do what you love for people who love what you do. Listeners, don't focus on money alone. There's a wonderful expression that says, don't work for income, work for impact. The income will follow. And that's what I want to stress. Work for success and satisfaction. Don't just work for money. For those of us who've had to keep jobs or have jobs that we really didn't like, but the income was good, know how unsatisfying that is. Many years ago, I worked for a particular psychologist, and it wasn't a very satisfying experience, but the money was good, and I did it for all of 6 months. And then I decided I can't. This is not worth my sense of achievement and peace of mind, etc., etc. So don't just focus on the money. Focus on satisfaction and success. The money will follow. Trust me on that. Achieve your outcomes. Make sure you know what your outcome is, and then achieve it. And if you haven't achieved it, analyze it. Think about it. See what you want, tweak it, add a bit more of this, like my mom did, a bit more of that, a bit less of that. Bake it longer, take it out of the oven 10 minutes, whatever. But make sure you achieve your outcomes, and if not, learn from that fact. Be grateful for what you have. Gratitude is one of the most productive emotions we can have. Because when you are grateful For where I am and what I have, I see opportunity. I find a deep inner sense of peace and contentment, and I go with that, and I find opportunity. I find ease. I find flow, and doors open. So look at what you're grateful for. In the morning before you start the day, set the tone. Say, today I am so grateful for all that I have and all that I can be still. Can be means there is going to be change. I am going to grow. I am going to become more. And that means change, listener. That means don't know how I'm going to change. I don't know what's going to precipitate that change, but I'm going to change, and it's okay. Understand yourself and your purpose. Your thoughts are important because thoughts become things. Thoughts become feelings, become actions. They become your reality. So know who you are, know what you think. If you have to keep a thinking diary for a while, do so. You'll be surprised what you learn. What are my dominant thoughts throughout the day? Was I mostly worried? Was I mostly anxious? Was I mostly playing the what-if game? Or was I playing the as-if game? I behave as if I am already, whatever you want to be, the best mechanic that this organization has ever had, the best whatever, the best life coach there ever has been, the best doctor, the best nurse, the best mom, the best dad, the best, as if, behave as if. And there I'm not referring to arrogance and being so full of yourself. I'm talking about, if I behave like I am the best at what I do, then I must raise the bar, not so, because I won't be the best if I'm skimping, if I'm cutting corners, if I'm not anything but totally honest, if I don't have integrity and a moral compass that is spot on, I can't be the best. So if I'm going to behave as if I am the best, then I have to tick all those boxes. So behave as if, live as if, not what if. Because what if, and I think, I'm not sure who said so, I'm not going to quote anyone as I'm known to do, but to worry about something that has not happened is madness. Somebody said that, I don't know who, but somebody who is quite wise, because worrying about something that has not happened is kind of pointless. It's like trying to solve an algebra problem by chewing bubble gum. Kind of pointless, you'll agree. So do those things. It is really, really worthwhile practicing. Be 100% accountable. Don't be concerned with what others think. Become an expert in your field. Don't focus on your failures. Learn from them. Put in the time. Do the work. Do what you love for the people who love what you do. Achieve your outcomes. Be grateful for what you have and who you are, and become aware of who you are by understanding your thought processes, which lead to feelings, which leads to behavior, which lead to good or bad habits, and we've talked about that before. Do not underestimate the power of good habits. Good habits set you in motion, rhythm, a beat, for success, for doing the right thing at the right time and moving forward with that rhythm. So listener, remember, have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Yes, there's going to be change. Yes, of course there's uncertainty. The whole world is uncertain. The whole nature is uncertain. The universe is uncertain. I heard this morning on the radio, somebody said, as is going to happen this month or next month, Saturn loses its rings, and it's going to be explained on Sunday evening. I may just listen. That's a change. Saturn losing its rings every 15 years. Who knew that? That's big. And you're worried about what? I'm not diminishing your concerns, but I'm saying get it in perspective and see the growth opportunity. Again, as always, it was my privilege. I hope that helped. Please feel free to contact me on anything you like to discuss, to get more clarity on, and please keep those requests coming in, listeners. We simply love it. With that, I wish you a good day and a lovely weekend ahead. And remember, you are the creator of your reality.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.